There's two big investment controversies. I think you covered them a little. The first is the fate of the Affordable Care Act, with the likely confirmation of Amy Barrett as the conservative Supreme Court justice. And then what happens after the election from a legislative perspective to the act. And then on the other side, of course, we have in healthcare the pandemic, which is impacting in so many ways, the vaccine, the possibility of a second lockdown, with the second wave as the winter comes in, that might drive even more deferral of elective procedures and services. And then on the digital health side, actually, American consumers have certainly adopted virtual care and telemedicine and digital health services in a big way. So if that pandemic progression kind of continues on the bearish side, that is actually a positive for telemedicine and digital health names. So coming back first to the ACA, she looks like she's going to be confirmed after the 3 days of Senate hearings. I think, and I'd be very surprised if on November 10th, SCOTUS in any way overturns the law. There is judicial precedent for Justice Kavanaugh to support it. Chief Justice Roberts has supported it in the past in 2012. And I would say from her early comments on the issue of severability, it does not look like she will not side with the liberal justices. Yeah. So more likely than not, it stays.
That's a really interesting take, because there's so much thought out there like, oh, you may be a Democrat or you may be a Republican, and so you're going to automatically do X or Y. I think that does these justices, some of the brightest women and men in the world, a lot of disservice to automatically assume they're going to ignore 30 or whatever years of judicial training. That aside, if ACA is upheld, what happens with the sector? What are the good plays? Where are the good places to be?
Yeah, so, we think ACA is going to be upheld and possibly even strengthened post the election if there's a blue wave. I would be a buyer of a couple of the managed care names. I think Centene and Molina, they've seen some upside, but they're not pricing in the probability of a blue wave. They're still, from a multiple perspective, quite inexpensive. From a defensive perspective, I'd be a buyer of United Health Group, which saw, some downside yesterday. I think investors are getting overly concerned about a pickup in utilization as the pandemic subsides, and they've got their cost trend and their pricing under control. And they're a technology company primarily. I think the multiple is very discounted for what they have in their portfolio. And I'd be a buyer of Humana as well, which is a senior story, both from a demographic standpoint and privatization of Medicare to Medicare Advantage. And then finally, digital health names. I'd be a buyer of them from a number of perspectives. Technology adoption, there's a lot of deal activity and a lot of IPOs again, coming out in the pipeline.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.